Hey, 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 what's up, everybody? We are back with another segment of Real Talk Tuesday. I am your host, the fabulous Brittany Stevenson, of course. Had to put that in there. And I got three of my four co companions with me. I have Sister Brianna Branch, I have Miss Miosha Crippen, and we have Reverend Kenneth Watson. Reverend Gail couldn't be with us tonight. We love him, we miss him, and we will see him next time. So let's get into this conversation, y'all. Can you believe that it's like, first of all, I just want to say that February flew in and out of here. Like, it was literally like January 1st, and then it was January 30th.
Speed of light, and it was gone.
And now it's almost the end of this month. We got like, what, 2 more days in this month? Well, we got 2 more days because it's the leap year. So we got an extra day in this month. Yay. Extra day to celebrate Blackness. So, of course, you know, with it being Black History Month, we want to talk a little bit about Black history, but we want to go a different direction, and we want to talk about what life would be like without Black history. So our topic tonight is a life without Black history. So to start off, I want to pose the question, and what are some things that wouldn't exist if Black people didn't make history? For starters, a lot of medical advancements that we have wouldn't exist. You know, Dr. Charles Drew's research on blood plasma storage, you know, it's allowed people to donate plasma, which has saved millions of lives. But if it wasn't for Dr. Drew's, we wouldn't have that, revelation. So that's something that I thought was pretty cool. And anything else comes to mind when you guys think of Black people, our people that have made history? What are some things that you know that would not exist if we weren't being Black and fabulous?
Oh my gosh, it's so much.
It's a lot. So there's a lot.
It is. It's like, it's music, it's, food. It's so much. It's so much.
I mean, our footprint is like all over the culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, through obviously, Miosha said, through music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, through writing. So many Black writers have kind of had such a profound and influential impact. Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou, Langston Hughes, James Baldwin.
You say that, can't forget James.
Yeah, there's so many. So yeah, I'll just to name a few.
Mm-hmm. We can't forget technology either. We were just having, like, before this started, to talk about AI. So technology's on the brain. So things like security systems, traffic lights, like, we did that. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and when you think about the traffic light and how it has saved many of accidents and things like that, or security systems. I mean, I was talking to one of my friends, and this is the veer topic. Her car was stolen. But because everybody now has, you have like a ring or something like that, they were able to find it like in record time. And, that's great. So you think about just the things that we're able to do now that probably 50 or 100 years ago would have just, her car would just be gone. She would just have to take it out. So, I mean, you think about, the things like Miosha mentioned music, and how, our footprint is in every genre of music, which is crazy because like right now, everybody is arguing because Beyonce has this whole country album. It's like, first of all, Beyonce's from Texas. She is country. You can hear, she always gave that vibe to me. But now, of course, because she's Beyonce, it's an issue. When that started with us, when you think of country music, a lot of it is, a lot of country music is, it speaks a lot of heartbreak and things like that. Who don't know heartbreak? Who knows less heartbreak than us or more heartbreak than us? I mean, come on now. But yeah, so I mean, we, I thank you guys for your answers to this, because just basically to let our viewers know, us as a people, we are innovative, we are smart, we are trendsetters, we have, made marks on the world that, without us would not, they just wouldn't exist, and we wouldn't be living the lives as successfully as we are now. Mm-hmm. So I always ask this question because it causes us to be reflective. So, I have to ask, and sometimes I remember I was in a conversation with, some friends, and it kind of got a little heated. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time.
Oh God. What you about to say?
Hopefully it don't have any. So I always ask the question amongst us. I say, we have Black History Month, and Black History Month is 1 month, and it's the shortest month of the year. Of course, we all know that. But do you think that Black History Month should be celebrated? Why or why not? And I always tend to take one side, and then I get yelled at. So I'm gonna hear y'all's opinion, and then before I get yelled at, I'll tell mine. So think about it. Do you really think that we should celebrate Black History Month?
I would definitely say yes. Okay. I think that we should. I think that it's good that it's nationally recognized, because I feel like if it wasn't, some people would, just overlook, all of the things that we've done, and having it be a part, of, the calendar, of the year. I think it does kind of highlight not just, like with schools, but like the radio stations and different towns and stuff do certain things on different days. And I think it just, brings Black history to the forefront, even if it is for 28 or 29 days. So I say yes, I'm definitely for having it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to agree with we're going to have an asterisk off to the side that maybe we should celebrate ourselves more. Not just within February, but year round we should be celebrating ourselves. But for sort of the same reasons that Miosha mentioned, I think that we should celebrate Black History Month, and it's important that we do, because in a world where they're trying to take away Black history, like making certain things unteachable in classrooms, not wanting to speak about certain topics because it might make such and such uncomfortable, I think that it's important that we have this month, because like she said, it brings everything to the forefront. And so the things that are being hidden throughout the school year and different social circles, wherever, they're being brought front and center. And so I feel like it's important that we are constantly, being reminded of where we came from, the great things that we have done, like we've mentioned early, just so that it's in the forefront of our minds, to be like, we're not just whatever it is that they say we are. Like, we have done great things. There is greatness in us, and we're just going to keep pushing, But that's my 2 cents.
We love it. So
we love your 2 cents.
No. I mean, I agree with what was said so far. I definitely think we should celebrate it. I mean, it's all about kind of bringing awareness and pushing forward, the rich history and the legacy and the traditions that we have as a people. So I think it's extremely important. I mean, we often fall prey to placing limitations on our history, as if we can only talk about it in February.
That's true.
I think we as people need to do a better job of constantly bringing awareness to our rich history and not relying on other people to do it.
Right.
But I think it's extremely important for us to celebrate it in February. But just because it's March 1st, that doesn't mean we can stop talking about
that was last month.
But what we as a people do. But no, I mean, I think about my son. My son goes to a private school. It's an extremely cultured school. But February they put a heavy emphasis on Black history. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're just not teaching and talking about, the traditional African American figures that
Rosa Parks,
right?
MLKs,
they're kind of
Barack Obama.
They're kind of taking a deeper dive into our history, and it kind of made me think, man, that I need to really prioritize talking about my history more with my son, right? And not just limiting his exposure to our history with being taught to him by white teachers. I mean, I like it that he's been exposed to it, but we have a responsibility as parents, as a church, as a people, to raise our kids and make sure make sure our history is not that it's a necessarily bad thing that it's being taught to them, but we certainly want to reinforce and be the leaders in teaching our kids and not relying on others to do it or to not do it. So yeah, no, I think it's extremely important.
Okay. So this is the part of the conversation where I take the different route. And so while I respect and I love first of all, I respect, everything that has been said, and I love being a person of color. I wouldn't want to be anything else, even given the things that we as people of color have to overcome, Black people. The thing that bothers me about the celebration of anybody's history, not just Black history, but you have the different histories, is that it puts it in this box as if we aren't a part of this American, when you say Black history, you think of Black Americans, not just Americans, and it's like we celebrate it in February and then you don't hear no more about it for the next year. And I think that's what my problem is. Black people make history every day, and it should be something that's constantly talked about. And I think that Black History Month kind of makes people feel, it gives them a chance to be all warm and fuzzy and, put out their Go Black People flag. And then it's like they put it to the back burner. And it's almost like you're trying to create a space somewhere where they, when we are the table. That's my thing. It's like, when you are the table, it's like you're trying to create a space. You're trying to push this idea that Black people make history. We already know that. So, and I mean, while I like the fact that we have this time to be, reflective and to remind ourselves and the youth and young adults, I think that, making it just so big during this time of the year and then you don't hear about it no more is the problem for me. So
yeah, but here's I hear what you're saying. Not that I disagree.
No, this is what I wanted. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Not that I disagree, but I was kind of alluding to that earlier. Like, why is we as a people, not suggesting that you are, but why are we relying on other cultures to teach, to teach, or to put to the forefront Black history, right? It's like, why are we relying on people to do things that we can obviously do for ourselves? We as a people, like, you know how they talk about how there's like a Black Twitter, right? Mm-hmm. It's like we are good at having conversations about things that don't matter.
Listen.
Honey, we can talk about something that don't matter.
At the end of the day, it's like it doesn't matter. We could be pushing. We could be same thing. We could be starting conversations and pushing the agenda of things that really benefit us, right? And Black history is certainly one of those things. So I understand what you're saying, mm-hmm. But I think it's time out for us relying on other people, right? To teach us and to push forward our rich history when it's something that we can all do, right? And it starts with each and every one of us. It starts with the four of us, and it starts with the people that are watching. I mean, if we all just kind of, had a little more, if we just took a little more initiative, right? And we'd be amazed, I think, how things could possibly change in reference to Black history. Because you're right, we should be celebrating it 365 days of the year. But I quite frankly think that onus is on us.
Yeah.
How long do we have to continue to wait?
I think
they're not going to, right? Mm. Which is why I think it's important to at least we do it in February. But again, I think the onus is ours to push the message forward.
Yeah. And so
in my opinion.
No. Like that, and I mean, this is the reason why I wanted to ask this question, because not that it caused an argument the last time we had this conversation, but I was like, I'm like, you don't want to celebrate Black History Month. I want to celebrate Black history every day, not just in February, and that's the problem. I think that we get all prideful and get all.
But we can. Right?
We can. But I think that we all, like you said, as a collective, myself, we forget that. It's like, we don't need to just be full of pride and warm fuzzies during this month. It's like, yes, people that, Black people, they made history. No, we do this every day. And every single day, in every single way. I mean, when you think about people, I mean, we listed a few things that, inventions, and we advanced in sports and even in science. When you think about like the ladies that were the mathematicians, I think the one's name was Catherine. I can't think of her last name. But when you think about these people and the things that we do, this is something that should be talked about every day, because why, and it's not. And like you said, it starts with us. It starts with me. It starts with Neosha. It starts with Reverend Kenny. It starts with Brianna. And so that's my whole thing with Black history. And then it's like I said, it's almost like we're trying to make them give us a seat at the table. We want a Black History Month because, we at least deserve that. What? Take the whole. I'm taking. Like that. Yeah, like that's how sometimes it gives. Like
it's perception.
Yeah. I mean, and perception is reality, so maybe that's just the way I see it. So, yeah, and I mean, we can go back and forth on it, but like I said, no, and thankfully, thank you guys for not arguing with me, because the last people did. It was very nice, but it's okay. But yes, I mean, am I a celebrator of Black History Month? Absolutely. I just think that us as a collective should celebrate just more. We should do a better job. I mean, and when you think about it, what have we, and Brittany, what have you done to celebrate Black History Month this month? That's like, am I doing all I can? Absolutely not. And that's my problem. And that's something, like Reverend Watson said, that's something that I think I need, we need to be better at, because we as a people have such a beautiful and rich history. Please do not get it twisted. Yes, our ancestors may have been brought over here as slaves, but there's a richer history even beyond that. And I think that we need to, know that and, live in that and believe that. And I think that if more of that is taught, a lot of the foolishness that goes on now wouldn't. So those are my 3 cents, because I had a little longer than 2. Anybody else before we move on to the next question?
Okay.
Okay. So my next question is, so we're gonna do a little bit of, I guess, I don't want to say imagination, but a picture a world where, I just said, our ancestors were brought over here as slaves. Picture a world where that didn't happen, where we came over of our own free will, and there was no racism, and there was no slavery, and there was no segregation, and there wasn't civil rights movement, because those things didn't have to exist, because everybody just got along. Do you think that us as a people would be better off or worse off? And why or why not? This causes you to think a little bit, so if you do, the question basically is, no slavery, the slavery never existed, us being brought over here in shackles and chains on a boat never existed. We're just all on an even playing field. Do you think that we would be better off or worse off? Brianna's face, I love. Huh? What'd you say?
I'm trying to think.
That's a really good question. What it me to, like, immediately was, you ever watch Bridgerton?
Of course.
Ooh. Right, and that's kind of what it brought me to, like, with Bridgerton and that particular
that society.
Yeah, like Black people and white people, like, were co-mingling in Bridgerton, like, during that same time. And I'm like, we could have been like that. Like, it could have been like that. It could have actually been a thing. And it's just like, it would be nice. It would have been nice. Would we be better off? I think, yeah, if we could all get along. Sure, of course. You know how much we can accomplish if people got along? A whole lot. Is it reality?
But we're not talking about reality. We're talking about this world. where none of that existed, do you think we'd be better off?
I think we'd be better off.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. This might come out as like a little bit of like word vomit for a little bit, just to make sure I'm putting all of it together.
No, we love it. Let's dump.
Okay, so let's get into it, right? So the way my brain is thinking of it, right? Like if we were all nice and all was good, there's no racism, no segregation, no none of that, would we necessarily be better off? Are we assuming that humans just like they aren't the way they are now? Because in my head I still feel like we would find some way to separate ourselves. Someone would find some way to say I'm better than you, and in some way, whether if it was race, like economic status, what. So in that case, no, not necessarily better off, because we just find some way to put ourselves right back into the situation that we are now. It just wouldn't be race. You know what I mean?
And the crazy thing about
I see what you're saying.
It's kind of where my brain was going. I think that while, all of those things that I, aforementioned, racism and civil rights and all, and, having to deal with that are horrible, and that we had to deal with it. But I think that we are the people. We have the strength and the resilience that we have because of those things. And when you think about it, in spite of those things, we still win, So I feel like if we just had it easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, I feel like we would probably end up just like resting on our laurels and like not
that we wouldn't be where that was my part too. Like, if it wasn't that we weren't separated by race, we were going to be separated by something else. Also, I guess I am a firm believer of like things happen the way that they do for a reason. Like, God took his pen and he was just like scribble, color, polka dot, like for a reason, right? To bring us to where we should be. And while the things that we have experienced have been horrific and terrible, I think that they were great motivators for certain people to like propel themselves out of the situations that we were in. So like if it didn't happen the way that it did, who's to say that like the great and amazing Black innovators, like people who write, like musicians, that they would have been where they are now, would have had the influence that they are now, which would have led to who we have become as a people, like, generations following that, if this hadn't happened to us. And I think I'm stuck on that. Like, who would we be if this wasn't a part of our story? That's what as motivated, like you said before, will we be as strong, will we be as resilient, or will we be like lazy and lame like other people, like the others, like
Rem Watson?
No, I was enjoying the conversation. No, I can understand, all sides on it. The easy answer is, I mean, you would hope that we would have been better off as a people, right?
Right. You would hope. I mean,
you would hope, but
if you don't have
hope, but again, that struggle, right? Kind of birthed in us, being resilient. Mm-hmm. And perseverance, a lot of our faith, right? Our belief in God, our theology, right? Was birthed with being oppressed, right? So I mean, it's a very interesting question, right? Really thought-provoking question.
It is.
Yes.
It is definitely an interesting. You look at a whole bunch of different sides.
Because the reality is, I firmly believe that there is no other people or culture that would have been able to survive what we have survived.
My God.
Right? Or endured what we have endured. So man, it's a great question, right? Mm-hmm. One of the reasons that we're often I am extremely proud my culture and my race and that I'm Black is because of what my ancestors endured and how they overcame it, right? That kind of what strengthens and kind of bonds us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
So man, it's a great question.
We could, I think we could go.
It is.
It could be one of those
I'm
questions.
Over here like, so you mean like if I had the choice to struggle, would I choose to struggle? No.
Right. Yeah. Like,
you know what I mean? Like,
because we definitely don't want it to be like we're glorifying struggling, because we don't want to do that.
No.
You would. It's a lot of different ways you can look at it.
You would hope that financially, as a people, we'd probably be in a much better position.
Mm-hmm. We would hope.
Spiritually, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think even developmentally. I think that it's that drive. It was that drive to succeed. It was we had to. The first Black person to go to Harvard had to sit outside of the classroom and listen to the lectures from outside of the classroom. It's that kind of struggle that still made him achieve, and when you think about people who decided to create the first HBCU so that they could advance the education of our people, and you think about these trade these goal setters and these trendsetters and these people who have done great things in our history, would they have this question could go so many
different ways, we could be so much further we could be so much farther behind.
Yeah, and to Brianna's point, I mean, we as a society would have just found something else to separate us and divide us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just innately what humans do.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, humans aren't great.
It is so unfortunate.
We're not the best. We could be better.
We separate the colors from the whites in our clothes.
It's the constant battle between good and evil, right?
Mm-hmm. Constant. But we shall overcome.
It's a great question.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah,
that was a good question.
It's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, I can honestly say that even struggles in our own personal lives, you can honestly say that while that didn't feel good, when it brought us closer to the God that we serve and the God that we know loves us and the God that still gives us the strength to overcome, and we overcame, whatever struggle it was.
And still overcoming. How we deal with things.
And we love that.
That makes a difference.
It does. So thank you guys for your take on it. Brianna, we were here tonight. I love it. Okay. We all kind of were because it's really, like you said, like Miosha said, it could go so many different ways. That question could have went anyway. But thank you guys for your.
You could have been on here till tomorrow.
Well, we all like to talk. So anyway, so while we're talking about Black history, the four of us are in this world. We are young, gifted, and Black Americans doing great things. And I just wanted to take this time to just talk about the things that we, as young Black people, are doing to advance our people. And when you think about that, it doesn't have to be on a large scale. It's just, what are you doing in your everyday life to advance our people? And I'll start that way. It can give you guys a chance to think about this question. I work at a HBCU and I work in the honors program, and each semester I get to help I get to stand tall and proud as we see the next, the potential Black doctors, the potential Black lawyers, the future Black, maybe even the Black president of the United States graduate and do those things, and do great things in life. I love working. One thing, I like about working in academia is because you get to see people do great. And because I work at HBCU, I get to see people like me do great, every day. My students they're smart. They're presenting research, they're winning awards, they're traveling the world, they're doing great things at a very young age, and I love to see it. So that's one thing that I feel like I'm doing to advance our people. Another thing is just I'm investing in myself. Currently in my MBA program, I graduate in May. I'm gonna keep telling y'all that.
And we're gonna keep celebrating.
And we're gonna keep
hold on.
So and then yes, we love that. So that's one thing. And then this degree, while we're gonna celebrate this degree, it's the next one that she's getting. That's the one that we really gonna shout across the stage for, because I'm my next degree and goal is to get my PsyD, which is my doctorate in psychology, because I eventually want to be a therapist, and I want to specialize in Black mental health, because I think that that's something that we, I think that while there are a lot of us millennials and even Gen Z, and we'll go to therapy. I want, that's still, therapy is still a taboo subject, and I think so many things can, so many generational curses could be broken if we have these uncomfortable conversations in a safe and intellectual space. Because you might not want to talk to your mom, you might not even want to talk to your pastor, but I can talk to my therapist because she's bound by a Hippocratic oath not to say nothing. So if I need to say something to her, you feel that way. So I want to be that for the next generation. And also having, dealing with neurodivergency. I have ADHD, and I was diagnosed very late in life. I was 34. And I want to be a part of, and just some of those things, some of the things that I dealt with as a kid, being, having ADHD, they've shaped and molded, bad habits in me, because I thought I had to do certain things or whatever. This conversation could go on for a while, but I want to help the next generation, pick up on things and see things the way they are, so that they don't have to wait as long as I did, to be diagnosed and to start being treated. And, so it's all about betterment. So that's what Brittany is doing to advance our people on a small scale right now. Maybe one day, it'll be a bigger scale. But right now, we're doing our thing. Anybody else? I know Miss Brianna's got a lot going on. We love to hear it.
Okay, well then, I guess since I've been called upon, I can talk about it. First, I would like to say, for the betterment of the African American people, humbly, might I start out, I advance us by simply existing. My God.
Yes. Come on, Jesus.
Thank God for me.
Thank God for Brianna. You listen, it's a poor frog that can't praise his own pond. So we love to see it.
Girl,
all right. Humbly, remember that, everyone. I said that as humbly as I know how.
And that's how we received it.
That's how I received it. I didn't feel any arrogance in that at all.
Perfect. And so, after, my daily existing, I would say that to, I guess, better the advancement of the African American people, I, as we all know, I'm getting my PhD. Currently, we're going to be Dr. Branch at the end of it all, and I'm doing that in science. And as we all know, science is a field that is not typically dominated by either Black people or women
so
in general.
Like Black scientists.
Woo, celebrate us. There's a bunch of us, we're here, we're small, but we're mighty. And so I would say that showing up in that space every day, willing to put myself out there, even reaching out to people who are interested in doing PhDs. They come to me to talk. I explain my experience, what it's like in science, what it's like to be Black in science. And I feel like that's a small but good way that I've been advancing without in this field. And I'd say that's it. I know. Yeah.
And simply just existing. Again.
I was gonna say, and heavily put
in the most
humble way. I know how. Man, the fact that I'm here. Oh, y'all are lucky.
We're a blessed people because Brianna is here. All right.
We're so fortunate. We are so fortunate.
Like I said, I can go next. It's hard to follow that up though.
I
will try. I will try. I'll try. So professionally, I'm a financial advisor. So financial literacy is extremely important to me in providing financial education. To everybody, but certainly specifically Black people. Mm-hmm. You talked about it. You asked the question earlier. Would we be in a much better position without certain things that have happened against us. And you would certainly hope financially we might be, right? Because one of the reasons that we are so far behind from a perspective of wealth is because of slavery, right? And segregation, Jim Crow, unfair lending, wage gaps. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on again, on and on. We were at several disadvantages, which has now caused huge wealth gaps between us and other races, specifically white individuals. So, I mean, my objective is every day is to try to provide informative information in reference to finances to close that gap $1 at a time, right?
Amen.
So, I mean, I partner with several nonprofits up in my area where I provide financial literacy to individuals that look like me. I've been very fortunate to speak to colleges, universities. One college in particular, the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. The last several years.
We'll be with us this weekend, y'all.
Yep. I've been invited by Sister Brittany to speak to students there. So I'm just really passionate about that. I've spoken to several churches about it. Speak to pastors all the time. Because again, it's just extremely, extremely important to me. I always tell people and parents the importance of talking to their kids about finance, right? Because that's often one of the taboo conversations that parents have with their kids. Taboo conversation, sex, that's a taboo conversation. Money's also a very taboo conversation as well. And we're just not taught it. We're not taught it in the church. We're taught to give to God our tithes and offerings, but we're not taught what to do with the rest of it. And we're not taught about it in our homes. And often parents don't teach it to their kids because their parents didn't teach it to them. So again, I mean, I really emphasize and stress the importance of learning about money. Because I mean, we all need it. It's all necessary.
And
but more so now we need it.
But you know, we as a people often mismanage it. And what's interesting is we spend a lot of money, again, on a lot of things that often don't matter, right? Oof. And we could just be better stewards of what's been given to us, especially because we are so handicapped and such at a disadvantage. We really don't have money to waste.
Right. It's true.
We need to make sure our dollar stretches as long as it can and we maximize it as much as we can. So again, financial literacy is extremely important to me, and making sure I kind of constantly constantly get that message out to everyone, but certainly specifically to, again, people who look like me.
Yeah, and that's a big one. And yes, the Reverend Watson does such an amazing job. He's been coming to speak to my students for years, and I like listening to that session because it's always a different group of kids or students. Excuse me, they're not kids; they're young adults. It's always a different group of students, and it's always the same reaction. I need to make bank because the way he's explaining it, like I gotta be able to ball out and like it's so hilarious. I love listening to it because he breaks it down in such a way. He's engaging. It's very informative, and it's they understand it, even though money's a hard topic to explain. Because like you said, a lot of people don't talk about it. It's not talked about in the home, but he explains it in such a way, and it's almost like and they ask for it. They'll send me like. I'll get an email Monday. I'll get emails Monday. Do you have Reverend Watson's information? Because I forgot to write it down because I need to ask him some more questions. I'm like, listen, Reverend Watson is booked in this. He's like, no. But yeah, so thank you, Reverend Watson, for your advancement of our people want to make sure that we are out here being able to live our best financial lives. Yeah, sure.
I'm up there with Brianna. I'm just here. I'm just here.
She has a charge to keep in a leader,
trying to be a light. Trying to teach people where I can, trying to reach people where I can, trying to be approachable. Trying to live life and be happy and it be genuine. There's a lot of things that people see in Black people and they look at us and they're like, oh, this person has an attitude or they're not nice. And then I usually don't get that, you know. I just try to just be the light, you know. My professional career, you know, I teach people all the time, you know, just teaching them what to do, how to do things right, how to do things proper, you know. Let me tell you, there's a lot going on that people don't see. So I just try to lead by example where I can, you know, and just do the best I can, because people are watching you, whether you know it or not.
That's a big fact.
Right? And it's not until you meet a stranger and they're like, oh, I know who you are. Like, oh, you do? Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You know, you just never know who's watching, right? So just do the best I can, you know.
We love that. Sometimes just the gift of presence is present enough. And Miosha, we are thankful for your presence.
Forever thankful.
Forever
thankful. I think Miosha's underselling herself a little bit. But yeah. She does. No, seriously, I was about to say that, but she had just said it. I mean, I think it's important. Miosha leads by example. At least I think she does.
I knew the shade was coming.
Everyone said, don't start no stuff on TV today.
At least when I see her, she is. But no. I think you're being a little bit too humble. But anyway, go ahead.
It's okay. We're here to
be more like your counterpart.
Rihanna.
We loved it. I love a quiet flex, and I feel like that's what that was. I love that for her.
It was a quiet flex.
I feel like it was a subtle quiet flex. It's like a flex, but in a nice way. But hey, we're gonna wrap up this conversation because you know, it was a good one. It was very thought-provoking. Thank you guys for sharing of yourself. Thank you guys. And thank you guys. I'm glad that we had this opportunity just to highlight some of our successes and some of the things that we are doing to advance our people, and some of the things that you, our lovely viewers, can do. Anytime you're doing, you know, as my Aunt Dana said, you got to do things God's way. That was one thing that she always said. So, you know, just when we're doing things and we're trying to do things to please God, and we're trying to do things to better ourselves and the people around us, we are. So, you know, we always end in a rapid fire question, but before we get into the rapid fire question, last month, Reverend, there was a big event that went on earlier this month. You know, it was a Super Bowl, but more or less, Usher. Usher was Usher. It was the Usher concert in the middle, and then there was a game around it. So that's how I'm going. Right. There was a game around the Usher concert. And so last month, you know, myself and Reverend Watson and Miss Miosha and Reverend Gail, who is not with us tonight, we had our little bit of predictions. And so tonight, I'm going to speak on behalf of Reverend Watson because he's grinning. We're going to eat a little crow because we predicted that the 49ers would be victorious. And even Reverend Watson I think you put some points on there, right? Like you said how much they were going to win by. You did. I can't remember. It was like 27
He said 27-14.
Oh, wait.
They got you clocked, written down and everything.
I wrote it down. Britt and Kenny went for the Niners.
I did.
The rest of us went for the Ravens. 27-14.
The Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
I mean, the Chiefs, my bad. So, in my mind, it's the Ravens. I was still mad that we didn't make it. We should have went there.
I am going to, you know, do all of that. So we owe Miosha and Reverend Gail some, I think, like a coffee or something like that. But yeah, I take the L. I'm wearing it. It is what it is. I did mine. Reverend Watson, you can respond how you need to.
Already needed it.
I appreciate that. You wait for me to respond.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting because I took the proverbial L for both of us. So yeah, with Miosha and Reverend Brandon, we got a little gift card or whatever coming your way.
Send you guys as well.
You said what?
A meme to send you guys as well in our chat.
I don't need it because of the fact that I was there for the Usher concert. I just told you, I just didn't. I told you I was there for the Usher concert. I was just trying to, everybody was against the 49ers, so I had to stand I wanted to stand by my fellow, co-host and stand to the 49ers. And I just really thought that things were going to come out better. And at first, it was like, yay, we're going to win. And then I went.
Okay. You're like reopening
Not
the
with-
we
not
like,
with-
I'm putting soda in it. Okay. I'm leaving it alone.
Yeah.
So, again, like we always end on a rapid
Like
fire.
it was the longest game in America, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It was.
I was ready to go to bed. It was like, somebody win. I didn't care at this point. My team went
kinda
on the field.
lingered.
It didn't matter.
But so my rapid fire question is: has any? This is
Okay.
we talk about Black people making history. So Risa Tisa.
Oh my.
Does everybody know who Risa Tisa is?
Yes.
I hate y'all.
Is this the woman with the 50-part segment on the internet that
That's
my
her.
sister telling me about?
Yeah. So Risa Tisa.
See, this is what I mean, right? We
And I was like, my sister was like, yes, I was like, don't sign me up for that.
Listen.
Just tell me when I need to know, because I'm not going to watch
I know who
that.
you're talking about. Now.
So Risa Tisa is a Black woman. She is probably the first Black woman to make. She has 52 8 to 10 minute videos about who she married. She married this man who has been called Legion, and it's this story of how they met, they dated, they got married and divorced, and he was pretty much like a swiper no swiping type of person. But the reason why I brought this up is because Risa Tisa is out here. She did something that people do. She sat in her bathroom and in her car and in front of the mirror with rollers in her hair, and now she is making hundreds of thousands of dollars because of it. So when you think about Black people, yeah. So they talk, there was a lady on TikTok, and they talked about how the algorithms work and how people are paid. And just literally, if you click on one of Risa's 52 videos, she gets paid. If you're on there for 5 seconds, she's on there. If you watch the video, she's making more money. I think at last count, she was up to like $300 and some $1,000 just because she stood in front of her camera. Like I said, she could have been on the toilet, because some of the angles, it was like she was like this. She had a roller in her head. She was in the car, and she just told her story of how she met this man during, like, right before COVID, and she dated him, and they got married, and there was a child, and then there was a divorce, and then there was a bunch of bullshit.
Like drama.
But she is making money. Shout out to Risa Tisa. I mean, I say the reason why I wanted to ask that question is because that just goes, like, it just goes to show you Risa has captive. She has garnished millions, not millions, but millions of views, literally. And she was literally sitting in her car just talking. So imagine what if we pulled a Risa Tisa and just we talked about God, and we talked about Black people, and how better off we would be. Because I'm not better off by listening to Risa's story at all. I mean, did I watch some of it? Absolutely, because it was like, she's such a good storyteller. If you haven't seen Risa Tisa, please get on TikTok and look at Risa Tisa.
It's too long.
It's too long, but just watch a few episodes. Just watch a few.
No, I saw the first video before it turned into a 50-part series, and I said, you know what? All the stuff that was in the first video, that's enough for me. God bless you. Keep it going. And then I went on about my business. That's too much. But I like your idea to do the same thing, but make it Black history.
I feel like, and then think about what she did. Somebody was like, she should write a book. What is she, when you think about somebody writing a book, you gotta write the book. You gotta get it edited. You gotta get it published. She gave us a whole audio book for free. She did it for free. She did it in her car and is getting paid for it. I mean, it's that for me. Like, sis did the least, but still did the most, and is making money off of it. And I love that for her. I mean, I'm sorry that you had to go through what you went through, but I love that there's a light at the end of that tunnel. And Risa is making money. I heard she got a trip to Paris. It's like,
yeah, like the airline,
nice.
Free tickets for her dream vacations. I just got,
and somebody's trying to, and because the man was like,
because I'm not gonna watch that.
because the man was trying to swindle her and kept telling her that they was gonna buy a house, I feel like I think I heard somebody said they're about to give her a house. It's like her gift is making room for her. Clearly, her gift of storytelling is making room for her.
Whether it's true or not, her and Legion could be together today. Nobody would ever know.
Oh no, Legion got on there and
I don't know.
Was going off too. So it's been some back and forth. But anyway, Reverend Watson, you had something. So yeah.
So what was the question?
I was about to follow up. What was the?
Oh.
No, that was just pretty. I was just asking. Had anybody? That was my question. Had anybody heard of it?
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's that. We're gonna end this conversation tonight. Thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for the laugh and the love as always. And happy Black History Month to all of us. Keep being strong, keep being inventive, keep making history. Until next time.